there's a reason that you must watch this video until the end. If you are a true fan of BTS. Why? It's because what recently happened to BTS in Japan is not the end, it's just the beginning. And this video will make you prepared for what's gonna happen to BTS. This video contains a prophecy about what BTS will encounter in the future. This is not a joke, we're serious. This video explains what already happened in the past few days and the situation that BTS had to face before their concerts in Japan. However, it will eventually prophesy your future. I won't personally make you prepared for the prophecy. Perhaps you'll prepare yourself by yourself for the upcoming near future. Let's get started. I'm sure you already heard of Jimin's Korean Independence Day t-shirt that has recently become an issue. I'll briefly explain it to you for just in case you're not familiar with it or in case you have been given incorrect information about it. Few days ago, Asahi TV in Japan has cancelled the appearance of BTS on their channel just one day prior to the show by making a political issue of a short footage from BTS's documentary movie in which Jimin was wearing the Korean Independence Day t-shirt. It has become an issue because of one image on the t-shirt. By the way, the official statement from Big Hit was released while I was making this video, so I wanted to comment on that first. If you take a look at their statement, Big Hit mentioned the issue, which would have been better if they could have checked more thoroughly so that it wouldn't have happened in the first place. They stated that it would never happen again. Big Hit and his hardworking staff said they would take care of it. They've promised it, so I believe them. However, I had a slightly different opinion from them as a fan, even though I understood that they had to make a choice that prevents further damages. Unlike Big Hit or BTS members who have to be very careful about what to say, I'm just an unofficial guy and merely one of their fans, so I think I can tell you what I'm about to tell you. This is what I think. What they can do is to give explanation regarding the consequences of their actions, because their motivations and intentions were not the same as the consequences. Therefore, I believe it is inappropriate for them to apologize. Why? It's because someone may intentionally or unintentionally misinterpret the meaning of the apology as the fact that BTS actually had intended or had been motivated to do that. It's not only I, but also a lot of subscribers of this channel have the similar opinions. We just don't want you to misunderstand. Yes, Big Hit presented a very clear guideline saying that they're apologizing to the people whom they might have offended unintentionally. However, Big Hit simply said their artist has worn a shirt with imagery of the atomic bomb. Even though it was true that there was an image of the atomic bomb on the t-shirt, the focus was not on the atomic bomb. It was only one of the images that were used to describe the process of independence of Korea. It's different. Depending on how you describe it, the t-shirt can signify either the atomic bomb or Korean Independence Day, which are two completely different interpretations. That's why I'm making this video and explaining this to you. I would like to prevent the claim that their intentions were as offensive as their actions. And I would like to block any possibility that may cause another problem. So I just want to talk to you unofficially on a fan-to-fan basis about the things that were a little insufficient and unclear on the Big Hit statement. Just like we always freely exchange our ideas at the fan forums or on the Twitter. I think a lot of fans might say, stop making an issue of this matter, it's over. Well, that is their freedom of speech, so I would respect it too. I'm not saying that it is wrong to apologize to innocent victims considering the consequences. However, it seems that just explanation is enough in this case. So the question is whether the apologies were necessary or even appropriate. Unnecessary apologies rather cause misunderstandings if the intentions and motivations were different. So I'll tell you why I believe the apologies were unnecessary based on my perspective. Obviously, you can be the judge of that. First of all, I must tell you about the people who have created this problem in order to explain this problem. Their identities are Japanese right-wing extremist groups and media companies that have anti-Korean sentiment. You should not be confused with the right-wing characteristics of political standards in general. They're not normal and usual conservative people. They're fascist and have not given up on their imperialistic ambitions even after their surrender in the World War II. Among them, There is a group of people who especially hate Korea. Since Korea is the country they hate the most, automatically they hate BTS more than anything. BTS is their subject of resentment, jealousy, and fury. It is also a good prey for them to unleash their sentiments. BTS has achieved such global success they can never dream of, has almost conquered Japan in the cultural area, and has been getting overwhelming support from Japanese fans and J-armies. Therefore, K-pop artists, including BTS, are their huge hindrances on their grand scheme of sustaining their power by spreading Galapagos syndrome on their younger generation of Japan. And it damages their pride as well. They believe that their glorious days were the times when they had invaded and colonized Asia, including Korea. So they feel miserable to see that Korea has superbly improved its culture, has become globally recognized, and is enormously popular in their own land with the Korean wave. Okay, I must point out few things that you might misunderstand about me from what you've just heard until now. I don't hate Japan. There are a lot of virtues that they have. Japanese people I know personally or in business relationships are not like this. They are friendly and polite, and they never do such things that would negatively affect other people. Any country would have both good and bad characteristics. Good Japanese citizens in general are nothing like what we have talked about earlier. And I'll talk more about J-armies later on. Therefore, the problem is only caused by the right-wing extremists and anti-Korean groups and media companies. They are the ones who have created this problem. Understood? It's not the entire Japan, but it's only a small group of people in Japan that we're talking about. I'll refer to them as JRWE hereafter. It is the abbreviation for the Japanese right-wing extremists. Now let me explain to you how JRWE are attacking BTS. I'll talk more about Jimin's t-shirt, which has been an issue first. If you take a look at the design of the t-shirt, you'll probably see the text and two images, right? What they're manipulating and wrongfully accusing BTS of doing anti-Japan activities is the image of the mushroom cloud caused by the atomic bomb. They're claiming that BTS has misused the image of the atomic bomb dropped by the US, not by Korea, during the World War II. If I think about how absurd the claim is, I become furious. However, I will refute JRWE's claim calmly with facts. Number 1. The definition of the t-shirt. First of all, Jimin didn't purchase the t-shirt. He briefly put the t-shirt on because it was a gift from his fan. And I would like to translate the explanation that the designer of the t-shirt had written and posted online at the time when the t-shirt was for sale. This is the explanation of the t-shirt. You can clearly see that the image of mushroom cloud on the t-shirt, which JRWE are deliberately manipulating and distorting Jimin's intention about it, is actually inserted there as the historical facts were enumerated on it, right? This t-shirt is not making the mockery of the victims of the atomic bombs at all. Oh, you'll understand much quicker if I tell you this. People who resided in the area where the bombs were dropped were not 100% Japanese. Tens of thousands of innocent Koreans who had been conscripted and forced to work at the munition factories in the area had fallen victim to the bombing. Korean Empire, which was the country that had existed before the Republic of Korea was established, lost its prince because of the incident. The bombing is a tragedy for Japan. However, it is just as tragic to Korea because countless Korean lives had been sacrificed. do you think there would be a such person who would employ the adversity of his own people to burlesque the misery of other countries? Besides, it was a retribution to Japan for invading Pearl Harbor without declaration of war. However, Koreans were purely innocent victims of what happened. Number 2, the definition of the t-shirt, part 2. Do you see the text? Patriotism, our history, liberation, Korea. I'll give you an example. What if Adam Levine of Maroon 5 took a picture of himself wearing a t-shirt that displays the process of independence of the United States and uploaded it on his Twitter? And then, what if the British newspaper said, "He's making fun of British. Adam, you better come up with an explanation for this and you must apologize for it if you want to perform in the UK." Wouldn't it be ridiculed by the entire world for that? Does it make sense to you if anyone is criticized by other nations for commemorating his or her own national independence? I use the US as an example. But can you ever imagine Portuguese reproaching Brazilians for celebrating their independence, or Spanish abominating Mexicans for honoring their independence? And what about all the other nations in the world that are memorializing their independence? Number 3, apology. Haters say, if you apologize, it'll be over. Why do you make the situation worse? To apologize means Jimin is admitting what JRWE are saying as the truth. You understand that it is unreasonable for Jimin to apologize for it, right? We don't even need to take it that far. It is a situation where the reason for apology doesn't even exist at all, isn't it? You've all learned from your moms that you should apologize when you did something wrong. You apologize when there's something you should apologize for. Do you know what I'm talking about? Jimin did not even wear the t-shirt in Japan. He neither performed in Japan wearing the t-shirt, nor appeared in Japanese TV show wearing it. JRWE are pulling out a trivial thing in the past and making it an excuse for absurdity of their actions. Basically, JRWE are exploiting Jimin's t-shirt as justification for their anti-Korean sentiment. Therefore, it is rather JRWE who need to apologize. JRWE have to apologize for what their forefathers have done, because JRWE have inherited the spirit from their forefathers and have not acknowledged that their forefathers are responsible for the war crime. JRWE need to apologize not only to Korea, but also to the entire world. No matter where you live, you need to receive an apology from them. Why? Take a look at this picture. JRWE were allies with the Nazis. I apologize that I had to show you the swastika. However, the flag right beside the Nazi flag is the one that represents the imperialist Japan. If you happen to tattoo that symbol on your body, I would strongly suggest that you erase it. Or if you have a t-shirt with that symbol, you should not wear it. It is considered as the same thing as swastika. JRWE haven't apologized for, or even admitted what they have done in alliance with Nazi Germany during the World War II. Whenever this issue is brought up, they say that they have apologized already. However, apologies shouldn't be done with the words, but with the actions. It is not an apology if you keep changing what you've already said. An apology must be made in the aspect of the forgiver, not the apologizer. Apologies must be made until they're forgiven, just like what Germany has shown to the world. JRWE say that it is done because they have said they're sorry and have paid compensation to the Korean government. JRWE have paid the money but haven't admitted their brutalities. Does it make sense? They even turn around and persist with their claim that Dokdo, the official Korean territory, is theirs. What they're not admitting are these. I'll briefly tell you a few important things that JRWE must admit guilt, even though there are as many as thousands of things that they must apologize for. Number 1. The genocide of millions of Koreans. Number 2. Drafting millions of Koreans to utilize them as Japanese soldiers in the wars and to force labor after displacing them. Number 3. Using innocent people all throughout Asia as guinea pigs for their cruel medical experiments. Number 4. Killing civilians for amusement, which is something human being is not supposed to do to another human being. Number 5. drafting women and even little girls to exploit them as their sex slaves during the war. Number 6. Not asking forgiveness from the victims of the war prostitution who have miraculously survived the calamities and have grown very old now. They even tried to obliterate the culture and the history of Korea. They did not allow us to use our own language and even replaced our names with Japanese names. They have attempted to erase the foundation of the nation, the race, and the families of Korea on the face of the earth. They didn't merely try to colonize Korea for economical purposes. They wanted to delete Korea from the history of mankind. Think about it. The language that you're speaking now suddenly do not exist anymore. If you're a woman, you get drafted, taken to military bases, and become a victim of brutal acts as a sex slave. And you just get disposed of if your value as a woman is exhausted. If you're a man, you also get drafted and shipped to the battlefields overseas and miserably die there. Or you're forced to risk your life working at a munition factory with no pay until you die. JRWE do not have courage to neither apologize nor admit these as truth. That's who they are. It wouldn't be enough to heal the wounds even if they apologize for generations to come. So how dare they accuse Jimin of just wearing a t-shirt that memorializes the independence of his own country? He wore the t-shirt just to express his gratitude to his fan who has given him the shirt. How can they demand apology from him? If there are people who must be prohibited from using the words such as apologize and explain to somebody else, it's them, the Japanese right-wing extremists. Can you hear the music? This is a song called Tokyo, which is the first track of RM's recent solo playlist, Mono. And what you're looking at right now is RM's tweet in 2013.
Wake up in Tokyo, feel like a torso, I know it's time to go.
JRWE are making an issue of this tweet too. Where did they sense the anti-Japan hatred there? How could honoring the sacrificed independence fighters be anti-Japan? They're also pulling out clips from BTS music videos, footage of a concert that BTS were featured as guests, and a photo in a magazine that a member of BTS is wearing something inappropriate by the mistake of the stylist who works for the magazine when everything has been explained and the situation has already been taken care of. BTS members talk about good feelings they have for Japan whenever they get a chance to. Besides, RM even put a track called Tokyo in his solo playlist. If RM is an anti-Japan activist, why would he use the name of the capital of Japan as the name of his song in the album that the entire world will listen to? Put Tokyo with a track called Seoul, not any other cities in the world but Tokyo? The song was not even on the plan, but RM really wanted to put the song in the playlist. That's why they made a song. And he says the playlist's maturity level has gotten higher because of the song, but then he's still an anti-Japan activist? Without further explanation, you're convinced that none of BTS members needs to apologize to anybody for any reason whatsoever, right? This is as obvious as saying, if you're tired, you need to sleep. If you're hungry, you need to eat some food. This is a common sense. Okay, so far I've told you about a little bit of history and what happened in the last few days. Now I will talk about the future, as I promised in the beginning. In the near future, you'll be hearing another news that BTS is doing something anti-Japan. You certainly will. You won't be surprised because I just told you, right? JRWE will take it even further if they think it works on you. If you react to what they're saying, JRWE will attack BTS even more severely. If the members of BTS do not provide any excuses for it, JRWE will come up with some fake evidences and even create phony stories about BTS. What you can do to protect BTS from JRWE is not to believe what they're saying. If you can tell whether something is a truth or a lie, you need to remember these two things. Number 1, any news from unidentified vulgar Japanese media is a lie. Number 2, if you hear news that members of BTS have said something offensive to Japan, a particular group, or a certain part of the world, that is also a lie. Everything else is for you to decide, but those two things are immutable laws. Those are 100% what the evil forces are making up. JRWE are very organized. They wait for someone like you who love BTS in ambush and spread out fake news. If you're thinking, nah, they're not stupid, I don't think they would do it again. Well, I'll show you the evidence with the saying, history repeats itself. In the name of Hallyu, the Korean wave, Korean dramas and K-pop have become enormously popular in Japan since the year 2000 or sometime around there. But then there have been incidents that Korean artists have been refused entry to Japan because the president of Korea has visited Dokdo, which they claim that it is their land, and because the artists also have visited Dokdo or have publicly said Dokdo is Korean territory. Besides, they have already exhibited very immature behaviors such as canceling telecast of the Korean dramas, canceling concerts of Korean singers, and stopping TV commercials that Korean artists appeared by pressuring the sponsors. During the first and the second generation of Hallyu, they have reacted the same. Today's Korean artists are called third generation of Hallyu. You might have seen it for the first time, but Korean fans are used to what they do. But you can't really feel it if I just tell you these, can you? So I'll tell you what one of our subscribers have told us about. Some people you know very well have also been attacked by JRWE. The Beatles. In the late 1960s, when Beatles wanted to perform in Japan, JRWE demanded this from them. Basically, Yasukuni Shrine is a place they worship their ancestors, but they also worship major war criminals of the World War II at the place. The Beatles were British, and Britain was an enemy to Japan during the World War II. That was why they demanded the Beatles to pay their respects there. The performance of the Beatles then was like the one of BTS today. They performed at the place where the emperor or high officials usually gave speeches, so JRWE made their appearances there. That's what they said. Now you're looking at the same people who said that to the Beatles. They are now middle-aged men or old men. Now BTS is their new target. In fact, BTS is the Beatles in 2018. Do you think JRWE would stop now? They attacked BTS once, so do you think they won't do it again? Do you really think they will stop doing something they've been doing for decades? My prophecy is fulfilling already while I'm making this video right now. JRWE have sent a false report to a Jewish organization. The Jewish organization demanded an apology from BTS. The organization is fooled by JRWE like this. How would the leaders of the organization feel when they find out the truth? I wonder if they know JRWE and Nazis used to be blood brothers. I wonder if they know a lot of countries here in Asia have also experienced tragedies as horrific as the Holocaust. I wonder if they know Koreans and Asians have lived without receiving an apology. They need somebody to tell them the truth. Just like you have seen in this case, the same incidents will occur again and again. This history is showing us our future, so this will happen again in the very near future. I've told you that it's a prophecy. I'm making this video because a lot of my subscribers asked me to, but there's another reason that I've decided to do it. I did it because I wanted to make you stronger. And because our love for BTS should never be shaken by the things like this again in our future. By telling you what's gonna happen in the future, I wanted to help you distinguish between truth and lies. BTS haters are everywhere. There must be a lot of them near you too. If they say few things, those get bigger and bigger. That is why Korean BTS fans get worried. There is no way for me to persuade the haters because they hate BTS for no reason. It was not this incident that made them hate BTS. They're just natural-born haters. They're so pathetic and pitiful. However, it's not them that Korean fans and I are worried about. It's you. Because you might be concerned again when things like this happens again. You might wonder if that's real. You might even become doubtful. You might even be agonized figuring out what the truth and the lies are. I've done my best to make this video. Well, it's nothing compared to the endeavors of BTS members, but we have stayed up all nights for the last few days organizing what to say. And then we'll have to edit this video too before you can finally watch it. Even then, we will probably have regrets after we upload it on YouTube. We could have done better. I could have explained it much better. So I could have made you even stronger for the times when things like this happen again. Yeah, it's far from perfect yet. Wait, before I finish, I have a message for J-Armies.
믿는다면 하나 둘 셋 믿는다면 둘 셋 say 괜찮아 진짜 하나 둘 셋 하면 잊어 슬픈 기억 못 지워 내 손을 잡고 웃어 say 괜찮아 진짜 하나 둘 셋 하면 잊어 슬픈 기억 못 지워 서로 손을 잡고 웃어 지나가 언젠가 분명히
BTS hate nobody. If they hate someone, they're not BTS. BTS love everyone. That is BTS. They have taught us how to love ourselves. We should protect them. We should protect each other. I hope there will never be any lies between you and BTS from now on. Thank you for watching. I purple you.